Miss Morgan, are we ready to start? 4:30? Will you please call roll? Here.
Here.
Here. And obviously we do have a quorum today, and I apologize that I was not here last week. It was miscommunication, and I'm here today, so let's go ahead and get started. Apologize to you that you came last week when I was not here. We have one order of new business, it looks like, a certificate of appropriateness for 205 South Washington Street. The petitioners, I'm presuming you are here on behalf of the petitioners. If you'll go ahead and sign in if you have not already. It is a little chilly. Yeah, my long sleeves. And Skip, you can come on up and kind of give us state your case and give us a rundown of what's going on, and then we'll have the opportunity in a few minutes to ask questions. We'll let Mr. Duke come up, and then we'll have you back up and have some questions for you. Okay?
This particular project is actually two different things that we're looking at doing. One of them is the homeowners are wanting to put a detached building behind their house. And of course, they're on a corner lot, so it's kind of it still be visible because of being a corner street. But they want to do the shop, which is on your sheet, I believe, listed as a 16 by 20. It'll be hardy siding, so it'll look just like this. It'll be painted white to match the existing house. And it'll be a concrete slab. It'll have a garage door and an entry door and two windows on it. Yes. Mm-hmm. And on the drawing that you got, I think it also shows the layout, how it is positioned behind the house. I believe you got this sheet right here at the very top of that sheet.
Okay, thank you, and we'll have you come up and I'm sorry, did I cut you off?
Tell you about the second part of it?
Yeah, go ahead and do that. I'm
okay.
Sorry.
All right, I'm gonna give you this because at the time when I heard the man outside, if you might, could you use a little bit better visual than what I had earlier. The second part of what the homeowners are wanting to do is they would like to have a porch, and the porch would be coming off the side of the house, which I've taken a picture so that you can kind of get a visual. The first document I turned in had a rough little drawing that we tried to do with the computer, so it's not as elaborate as this little shop drawing. But they basically want to do a lean-to off the side of the house so that they can have an area in which that they can go and drink coffee and read books and somewhat be in the backyard of their property. And so they asked at the same point in time that we're coming here in front of y'all about doing the shop, if we could also look into putting a deck. It'll be actually a deck with a shingled roof on the top of it. Yes. Let me show you. Yes, sir. It'll be right back here in the very back, which I think on the other information that was given to y'all, which is this area. Yes, sir. Right now you can pull in for their carport, and then this at one time was some type of wash
What, the entrance, the door here to the, what do you call this, a carport, garage, whatever, is facing which, third or
It would be facing third.
facing third? Okay. Okay. All right, let's have Mr. Duke to come up and give a staff report, and then we'll have question and answer time.
Good afternoon. I don't think that the sound is on except for the video, so it's not on in the room, so I'll try to talk a little louder. But you have a request, as has been stated, for 205 South Washington for both an outbuilding in roughly the southeast corner of the property and a 16 by 25 covered deck on the south face of the house. 205 South Washington is a contributing property to the National Register and Daniel Pratt Historic District. Was built roughly in 1930. It has, other than aluminum siding, it is mostly unaltered. The addition in the back is a more recent addition, but the faces of the house on Washington Street and mostly on 3rd have remained intact. The proposed project outbuildings, let's just take the 20 by 16 outbuilding first. It does meet your guidelines as shown on page 50 of the regulations for outbuildings. First, being smaller than the adjoining main building, simple in appearance, roof line that conforms with the main building, and materials that are compatible with the main building. So I would say that it does meet your guidelines. Be glad to answer any questions about the outbuilding first. The proposed deck basically falls under your guidelines for decks, which is on page 38 of your guidelines, and additions. And basically, where it is proposed on the back of the building, not readily visible from the street, is appropriate and does meet your guidelines. Be glad to answer any questions.
All right, thank you, Mr. Duke. Okay, Skip, if you'll come back up and have the opportunity for questions. Yes.
I like to say this is a really good product. It's a product that won't rot. It is not wood, and nobody wants to use wood. So I just like to pass on this is a very good product.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Are these going to be built at the same time?
Yes, ma'am.
On the page where the sheds are,
Yes, ma'am.
is the heavier outline, is that the shed, the outbuilding? Is this the outbuilding, so it'll be way back in this far corner of
Yes,
the
ma'am.
yard?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and the deck, this doesn't have anything to do with
No,
what's...
ma'am, this is representing concrete that we'll pour in front of the building.
Oh.
So that they can have,
Basketball goals.
they actually have 4 children. 3 of them are there full-time, and the basketball goal is exactly to get it out of the street.
I was about to
Which
say, it's in the
is
street.
right
And
now.
they have been playing in the back of the Gillespie's yard for a while. Now, where will the deck be in this
In
relationship?
The deck is in this area right here. So you pull into their carport now, and it would be, if you drove straight through their carport, that's where the deck would be.
Oh, this little pass-through
Yes,
isn't
ma'am.
open. Okay, I see now. This was what I was not sure about. Okay.
Okay, are there any questions for Skip or for Joel at this time? All right, thank you, Skip.
Thank you.
So if there are no questions, is there a motion to be?
I do have a question.
Okay, we do have a question.
I-
Is this for
I'm
Mr.?
just looking at a recommendation concerning maybe a little landscaping on the Third Street side to kind of block that.
Soften it some?
I do believe that the homeowner has future plans. Right now, they had a substandard fence that went up around the place. And actually, the fence that's left between the homeowner and Chad and them is actually not on the property line. It needs to be over several feet. And so his intent, I think, is after all this is done, is obviously to come back to y'all with a fence proposal in order to clean up that side of it. I'm assuming it would.
South side?
I'm assuming it would incorporate the Third Street side.
Oh, Third and, okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I believe, I know that they have taken the old fence down, but he has plans. But just like all of us, he has a budget, and so,
Right.
The first step is to get this part done and then, address the next later. Obviously, they love it here. They plan on never moving, and so they're just making improvements as their budget allows.
They do take good care of their property. Thank you, Mr. Price. Anyone else have a question or comment? All right, is there a motion to be made? Now, do we have these separated? Or it's no, okay. So is there a motion to be made at this time?
I'll move that we grant the certificate of appropriateness to add the shop and porch at 205 South Washington Street.
Okay, is there a second? A second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, and it is approved. So, and thank you very much. And sorry again for you coming last week. Okay, do we have anything else, Mr. Duke? Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? Second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Chair votes aye, and we're adjourned. Thank you.
No, you also. Y'all will meet again on the 22nd of October. There'll be the fourth Thursday, regular schedule at 4:30. We do not know whether you have an item on the agenda or not. Y'all's guidelines say that they can submit up to 14 days. It is 14 days. 14 days prior to the meeting. So y'all have one of the most lenient deadlines of the boards we work with, so I think that's okay. I mean, we don't have a problem getting. I'm about the only one that has difficulty in getting a staff report in if they're like 5 or so pop up. But if it's 1 or 2, we can get that out. So that's it. So we won't know until roughly the 8th next week what's on the agenda.